In June of 2021, German automaker Audi announced that by 2026, they would only launch electric vehicles and that they would stop producing gasoline engines entirely by 2033. Some may claim these statements to be all talk, but after taking a look at their lineup, it seems very possible. From the e-tron Sportback released back in 2018 to the upcoming Q6 E-tron, it genuinely seems as though Audi is going all in with electric power. Now there are many stories, leaks, and rumors about electric Audi models, and it can become quite confusing. Therefore, I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to give a brief breakdown on Audi's present and future electric lineup. Let's go. Now before we get too deep into the sea of Audi's electric vehicles, we need to talk about a certain nameplate, E-tron. E-tron is Audi's brand that is associated with their electric and hybrid models. The first Audi e-tron car was the 2009 e-tron Frankfurt, shown at the 2009 International Motor Show in Germany. It was followed by the concept e-tron Detroit show car in 2010, the A1 e-tron, which was unveiled at the 2010 Geneva Motor Show, the e-tron Spider, unveiled at the 2010 Paris Motor Show, and the 2011 A3 Sportback e-tron all-electric, which was used for testing but never went into production. There was also the Audi R18 e-tron Quattro LMP race car. The first production Audi e-tron vehicle was the A3 Sportback e-tron plug-in hybrid. This small plug-in hybrid hatchback was based off the Audi A3 compact car and was produced from 2013 to 2018. In 2018, the A3 Sportback e-tron plug-in hybrid was replaced with the very cleverly named Audi e-tron. Engineers are really bad at naming stuff. The 2018 e-tron was a mid-sized luxury SUV and really kickstarted Audi's electric transformation. The e-tron uses the Volkswagen MLB Evo platform, which is also used by models like the Audi Q5, Q7, the Porsche Cayenne, and the Lamborghini Urus. Fun fact, Volkswagen owns many car brands including Audi, Bentley, Lamborghini, Porsche, and Bugatti. Therefore, many of these cars share engines, powertrains, and platforms. At a base price of over $65,000, the e-tron is for the affluent. In terms of size and price, the e-tron is comparable to the luxurious Q8, Audi's top-of-the-line SUV. Then there's also the e-tron Sportback starting at just over $69,000.
Nice.
A Sportback combines qualities of a sedan, hatchback, and fastback coupe. The e-tron is large like an SUV, but has a long sloping roofline and other coupe-like traits. It's kinda similar to the Mercedes GLC coupe and GLE coupe, and the BMW X4 and X6. Personally, I don't really like the SUV coupe look. I think it kind of detracts from an SUV's rugged presence, but it's really just personal preference. The e-tron and e-tron Sportback have a 5.5 second 0 to 60 time, 402 horsepower, and 490 pound-feet of torque in boost mode. Boost mode unleashes the e-tron's full power, but only for short bursts in order to protect the powertrain and maintain reliability. The e-tron's battery can be charged up to 80% in just 30 minutes by means of a 100 kilowatt fast charger, and has a total range of 222 miles. It has two motors, one in the front and one in the rear, providing electric Quattro all-wheel drive. Now, the Audi e-tron is a pretty dope SUV, but what if you want all its coolness with the body of a large, luxurious Grand Tourer sedan? Well, not to worry, because Audi has the car for you. The Audi e-tron GT Quattro starts at just under 100 grand and uses the Volkswagen J1 platform just like the Porsche Taycan. The regular e-tron GT pumps out 522 horsepower through its Quattro all-wheel drive system, only 40 horsepower less than the Porsche Taycan 4S. But if you crave as much power as possible, then the RS E-tron GT is for you. That's right, Audi is giving the e-tron GT their legendary RS treatment. The RS E-tron GT pumps out a whopping 637 horses in boost mode and starts at 140 grand. Like the e-tron GT and RS e-tron GT have a front and rear motor, allowing for quattro all-wheel drive. The regular e-tron GT can scoot to 0 to 60 in just 3.9 seconds, and the RS does it in just 3.1 seconds. Very impressive considering both these cars weigh over 5,000 pounds. The e-tron GT can be charged from 5% to 80% in less than 23 minutes when hooked up to a public DC fast charger. The regular e-tron GT has an estimated 239 miles of range, and the RS has 232 miles. The e-tron GT has the Taycan's famous two-speed transmission. The first speed is for acceleration, and the second speed is for efficient, smooth highway cruising. The e-tron GT has optional rear wheel steering that can turn the rear wheels up to 2.8 degrees. The e-tron GT also has air suspension to adjust ride height depending on the selected drive mode. The Audi e-tron, e-tron Sportback, e-tron GT Quattro, and RS e-tron GT are all incredible battery-powered machines. But if you live in a smaller town without many EV charging stations, then an electric car may not be the most ideal. Instead, a plug-in hybrid may be a better option. Audi has 3 plug-in hybrid models. Firstly, starting at $52,000 is the Q5 TFSI-E. The Q5 TFSI-E is based on Audi's compact luxury SUV, the Q5. The Q5 TFSI-E can run on electric power for 32 kilometers before switching over to gas. What's great about plug-in hybrids is that you can rely on clean battery power for shorter trips without range anxiety on longer trips. It combines the best of both worlds. The Q5 TFSI-E has a peak 362 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque, and can go from 0 to 60 in just 5 seconds, only 0.3 seconds slower than the sporty SQ5. When plugged into a level 2 240 volt charging station, it takes 2.4 hours to charge the Q5. Audi also sells the A7 TFSI-E, based on the luxurious A7 liftback starting at 75 grand. The A7 TFSI-E has a 39 kilometer electric-only range before it switches over to internal combustion power. Just like the Q5, the A7 TFSI-E's gasoline engine and electric motor work together to generate 362 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque, 27 more ponies than the regular Audi A7. And then there's the A8 TFSI-E at a base price of 96,000 bones. The A8 TFSI-E has a 29 kilometer electric range, a combined 443 horsepower, and 516 pound-feet of torque. So now, we have briefly broken down all of Audi's current electric and hybrid models. But Audi isn't planning to just stop here. Why don't we take a look at some upcoming e-tron models we can expect to see in coming years? First off, there's the Q4 e-tron and Q4 e-tron Sportback, a smaller, cheaper alternative to the e-tron SUV. The Q4 is expected to be released in late 2021 for a base price of an estimated 45 grand. The Q4 e-tron will be similar to the Q5 SUV in terms of size. It will use Volkswagen's MEB platform just like the European Volkswagen ID.3. The Q4 can be had with a single electric motor pumping 201 horses through the rear wheels, or a 295 horsepower dual motor all-wheel drive setup. The Q4 e-tron will have a claimed 400 kilometers or 250 miles of range. The Q4 e-tron and Sportback can handle 125 kilowatt charging, and its battery can be charged up to 80% in just 30 minutes. The dual motor all-wheel drive Q4 can scoot from 0 to 60 in 6.25 seconds. The Q4 e-tron will be the cheapest electric Audi at the time of its release. Then there's the upcoming A6 e-tron, which made its debut at the 2021 Shanghai Auto Show. According to an Audi spokesperson, it might be released in 2022. The A6 e-tron is a sleek, refined machine. In my opinion, for the most part, the A6 e-tron looks dope, especially the back. I love the A6 e-tron's rear fascia design. The only thing I really don't like about its exterior would be the large black vents under the headlights. To me, they kind of look like just large gaping holes, and I don't think they fit well with the A6 e-tron's body lines. But other than that, not too bad. The A6 e-tron will use Volkswagen's new Premium Platform Electric, or PPE, developed by Audi and Porsche. The PPE platform is intended for larger electric vehicles, including the A6 e-tron and the upcoming next-generation Porsche Macan. The A6 e-tron can be had with either a single-motor rear-wheel drive or dual-motor all-wheel drive setup that makes 469 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque. The A6 e-tron will have a center-mounted 100 kilowatt-hour battery and can support charging up to 270 kilowatts, which can provide 300 kilometers or 186 miles of range after just 10 minutes of charging. In just 25 minutes, the battery can be charged from 5% all the way to 80%. Audi has claimed that the A6 e-tron will have a drag coefficient of just 0.22, which is incredible. That's better than a Tesla Model 3. The A6 e-tron has a claimed 0 to 60 time of under 4 seconds. Motor Trend has predicted that the single motor A6 will start around 55 grand, around the same price as the current A6 sedan and Q7 SUV. In terms of size, the A6 e-tron is similar to the current A6 and A7, and for fans of the gasoline-powered A6, not to worry. For now at least, Audi will continue to sell the OG A6 alongside the A6 e-tron. I think the upcoming A6 e-tron will be a popular choice as a luxurious, large, comfortable electric cruiser. Then there's the upcoming Q6 e-tron. Like the A6 e-tron, the Q6 e-tron will also make use of Volkswagen's new Premium Platform Electric. The Q6 e-tron is similar to the Q5 in terms of size and will likely compete against the Tesla Model Y, Jaguar I-Pace, and Mercedes EQC. The Q6 will serve as a middle ground between the small Q4 and the large, expensive e-tron SUV. It is expected that the Q6 will have the same powertrain options as the A6 e-tron. Therefore, the Q6 e-tron's horsepower, torque, and charging time will probably be the same as the A6. However, as the Q6 is a larger, heavier SUV, it is expected to have less range. We've already seen several spy photos of the camo-covered Q6 driving on the road, and the production version is expected to release sometime in 2022. Finally, Audi is also going electric with their motorsport division. They have just unveiled the RSQ e-tron, an off-road beast built to tackle the 2022 Dakar Rally, which will be taking place in Saudi Arabia. The RSQ e-tron has front and rear electric motors to drive the wheels and a DTM gasoline engine that charges the battery on the go, serving as a range extender. The gasoline engine will be very efficient, producing fewer than 200 grams of CO2 per kilowatt hour fed into the RSQ e-tron's battery. The off-road vehicle will also have a third unit to charge the battery when it's performing really hard, as well as a regenerative braking system. Audi is really doing all they can to boost the RSQ e-tron's range, which makes sense. I mean, you wouldn't want to run out of juice just before the finish line, would you? The RSQ e-tron and all of Audi's other current and upcoming e-tron models look absolutely fire. Audi's electric future looks to be very promising, and I'm excited to see how the Q4 e-tron, A6 e-tron, and Q6 e-tron will fare out. From the looks of it, Audi plans to keep its promise of only launching EVs by the year of 2026. Audi's slogan is, sorry if I butchered this pronunciation, Voorsprong durch Techniek, which means keeping ahead through technology. And it looks like Audi is doing their slogan justice. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this episode of the Prototype Pages. If so, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. Thanks so much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.